Welcome to Epicenter, the hub of innovation in the heart of Helsinki, where ideas come to life and creativity thrives, where innovation meets community. Get ready to learn, network, and make an impact. Let's go.
All right, Epicenter Helsinki, how are we feeling today? All right, I see I have some fans in the audience who know what to do. I know they have to scream for me in order for me to work. I crave attention. That's why I do this once a week. Hey, welcome to Epicenter Helsinki. My name is Joey. I'm the head of community here, and I am so stoked to see so many familiar faces, but also some new faces in the audience. I may have just alluded to this, but we have a tradition where we spend the first 10 seconds of every community event and we just absolutely lose our minds. So we scream, we holler, we shout, we cheer. It helps set the mood, it sets the tone. I see smiles on faces, that's what we're supposed to do. So we're gonna take the first 10 seconds. I wanna hear the rafters. I don't really know where Espoo is, but I want them to hear us in Espoo. Okay, that one worked. So I'm up here once a week, so I have to have new material, right? So I'm going to put that down in my little jot of the Espoo joke worked. Okay, so first 10 seconds, please absolutely lose your mind. Go. Yeah, even in the back, even in the back. Yeah. So secretly, I record all of these claps, and I play them for myself every morning when I wake up. I say, great job, Joey, you did it. You made it another day. Okay, all kidding aside, welcome to Epicenter Helsinki. So happy to be here with you all. So what we are here is we're a community. We're a meeting arena for local change makers looking to accelerate their growth and innovate with impact. Epicenter stands not just as the hub, but truth to the power of community. Communities we know are more than just people in proximity. They are a network of shared ideas, dreams, and aspirations that drive us forward. So I want to welcome you all to Sustainable Solutions. This is a new series from Epicenter Helsinki dedicated to unraveling the complexities and celebrating the innovations in green tech and technology. Over the course of the year, we're going to delve into the dynamic world of clean energy, eco-friendly strategies, sustainable development, and so much more. Hopefully bridging the gap between today's challenges and tomorrow's solutions. So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the evolving world of sustainable manufacturing, so where innovation meets responsibility and where the future of the industry is being reshaped. So how does that sound? So unfortunately, one of our keynote speakers was unable to make it today. She fell ill with the flu. In my theater background, we say the show must go on. So with clever maneuvering, the show will go on. So shall we begin? All right, so as we start the evening, let's uncover how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing manufacturing. Sustainable manufacturing is not just an ideal, it is necessary for efficiency and environmental stewardship. It reduces waste, conserves energy, and now with the help of AI, it's smarter than ever. Our first keynote will showcase how AI optimizes production, cuts down waste, and leads to smarter resource management. We'll hear about real-world successes and where AI has driven sustainability, and we'll also touch on the potential and the challenges ahead. So let's welcome our first speaker. He is the CEO and founder of Green Factory AI, driving innovation in manufacturing through AI. I wrote that twice. It was so important that I wrote that twice. He also is a chair for Loisto AI, and AI consulting firm, and co-founded Top Data Science, which was acquired by Morpho Inc. in 2021. With a PhD from Helsinki University and publications across multiple scientific disciplines, Hung has been enhancing manufacturing efficiency with AI and ML since 2015, especially in the pulp and paper, biofuel, and pharmaceutical sectors. So please, let's give a huge round of applause, just as loud as you did for me. He might be recording it for himself, to Hang, who is the CEO and founder of Green Factory AI. Welcome. This is for you, sir. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for having me here in a very meaningful discussion today, and thanks for the audience for the noise. It's great. Yes. So I would like to share with you about my experience in how to utilize AI to help manufacturing become more sustainable and more efficient. And I would like to start by sharing with you how actually they are doing in terms of sustainability. As we all know that industrial sector is super important to our global economics, and they actually, at the same time, it accounts for 1/3 of carbon dioxide emission. And industries are not on track with the net zero emission scenarios. And here, there's some, let's see how the pointer works. Anyway, so we have some numbers about the activity in 2022. So 5 industries. And among them, iron, steel, and cement are 2 industries produce the most amount of carbon dioxide emission, 2.7 gigaton and 2.5 gigaton. And in total, industries produce in 2022 9 gigaton of carbon dioxide emission, which equivalent to 1.8 trillion US dollar social cost of carbon. So it's huge numbers, right? And in this graph, showing industries how they're doing in their businesses and also in terms of carbon dioxide emission intensity. So for your information, carbon emission intensities is amount of carbon emission produced when manufacturing 1 ton of product. And then we can see that aluminum has a lot of things to do, right? Chemicals and iron steel are the biggest industry in terms of market size, and they also have quite high carbon dioxide emission intensity. All those industries have to cut down 3 to 4% every year until 2050. So there's a lot of things to do, and we would say that getting to the net zero is the most difficult challenge humankind ever taken on. And recently, McKinsey reported that it required 9.2 trillion US dollar investment every year until 2050 to achieve the net zero. But in the same time, the transition to the net zero also creates a massive opportunity to build new green businesses. McKinsey also reported that the growing demand for the net zero offerings also generated up to 12 trillion US dollar annual sales. And the number for industrial manufacturing is 300 billion US dollar. So a lot of opportunities, not only for well-established company, but also for startups who has been well known as a fast mover, fast movers and innovative players. And we have been now talking about Industry 4.0, and now it's time for us to enter to Industry 5.0, where factories are sustainable, efficient, and operator are in the center of everything we do. The factory is more resilient through the challenging times such as COVID-19 pandemic. So how to get there? We have seen global sustainability effort to drive the industry of company to be more sustainable. We can name European Green Deal, Clean Air Act, and so on. And also, industrial company has been utilizing IoT to collect the data for years. They has been building the IT, the data infrastructure, both on premise and also on cloud. And nowadays, industrial systems are more and more unified in the way they communicate to each other, and especially AI start to bring the real value to daily business operation. So the question is that how AI can actually improve the efficiency and sustainability in manufacturing. And today I would like to share with you about one of our focus is on so-called optimized manufacturing processes. You know, we can optimize inventory, we can optimize businesses, processes, or optimize the logistics. But here today I would like to share more on optimizing the manufacturing process. And in this example, I'm going to use POP as one of the products. And in this illustration, we have on the horizontal axis is about the consumption of chemicals, energies, and other resources. And on the horizontal axis, we have POP price as the quality. Conventionally, POP processes using a bit more amounts of chemicals, energy, and other resources to be able to produce the targeted quality. And in the same time, we see the carbon dioxide emission level also going up, proportional to the consumption level. And that's so-called optimal operation mode, where we can still use less of energy, chemicals, but also we're still able to maintain the targeted product quality. But even very experienced operator or process engineer, as a human, we can't really able to find out the optimal operation because we cannot really take into account so many factors or have a full understanding about the complexity and the dynamics of the process. But we can do that by collecting enough data and build a model, which is AI model, so that we can bring the accurate and timely prediction capability to the processes, so that we can able to prevent the process from producing unwanted quality product. By doing that, we're able to have the processes become more efficient and more sustainable. I'm going to share with you a couple of use cases. So recently, McKinsey has reported a very successful project in pulp and paper process optimization. In this project, there's 3 steps that they have implemented. The first steps, they identified the gold batches of production and they try to replicate them. And by doing that, they already able to achieve the reduction up to 15% in chemical use. And the second step, a bit more advanced, they're able to identify the key parameter which impact on the output quality and try to control them. And by doing that, they're able to reduce up to 25% in chemical use. And finally, they implement optimizer which can take into account multiple factors to optimize the uses of chemical consumption, and they can achieve up to 40% reduction in chemical use. So this is very, very impressive result, and also is showing that there's a huge opportunity for improving efficiency and sustainability in manufacturing processes. But imagine that there's 100,000 of processes worldwide across multiple industries. We cannot able to have all of those processes become more sustainable by offering the projects, right? Then that's why at Green Factory AI, we try to help all of the industrial processes become more sustainable by we are actually building an AI-powered optimization software for manufacturing. So as we see from this diagram, the conventional system contain processes and the distributed control system software. So conventionally, operator will use the software to control the processes. So our idea is to bring into conventional system here smart optimization software which is running on the top of those systems. The software will read the process parameters, make the prediction of the product qualities, and optimize the set points and send the signal back to steer the processes. And by doing this, we believe that we're able to have all of the processes across different multiple industry to be more efficient and more sustainable. So Green Factory AI is a very early stage startup. We present in Helsinki and New York. We are on a mission to create a greener and smarter future in manufacturing. So thank you very much. My name is Hunta. Yeah.
Let's give him a huge round of applause. Keep it going. You're actually going to stay with us for the panel, so we'll do Q&A in a second. So please grab a seat. All right, so to round out our panel, he's coming up a little early. Come, join us. To round out our panel, let me introduce a 28-year-old serial entrepreneur in the recycling and waste management industry. He first began as an entrepreneur when he was 15 by selling detergents from door to door. In his second year, he sold over 100,000 euros worth of detergents. Currently, he runs and owns a waste handling equipment business and a recycling startup. All his businesses are circular and turn customer processes circular, simultaneously creating cost savings. So please welcome, from Capacity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so because we got introductions out of the way, I'm just gonna go right into it. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay, so industrial companies are responsible for more than 30% of the world's annual greenhouse gas emissions. Thus, they play a significant role in the fight against climate change. Manufacturing is Finland's key economic sector, accounting for about half of the country's exports and nearly 30% of GDP. Now seems like no better time than ever to shed light on pressing environmental challenges posed by traditional manufacturing methods and to explore regulations driving the shift toward more sustainable practices while looking into ways that mindsets can change, leading to new innovations. So that's going to be the sort of overview of what we hope to discuss during the panel today. So I want to thank you both for being here this afternoon. We have limited time, so we'll get right to it. With the European Green Deal, Europe aims to be the first, to become the world's first climate neutral continent by 2050. The World Economic Forum wrote this past summer that Finland is on track to be carbon neutral by 2035, putting it fourth in the world and ahead of every other country in Europe. Just to note, Austria and Iceland are next with targets for 2040. So I'd love to start the panel here and look at where we are now. So can we talk about the current state of sustainability in Finland? Are we indeed on track to meeting that 2035 target? And I'll open that up to either of you.
Well, first of all, I'd like to start with the fact that we have perfectly overlapping team here because we are focused in how to make products more circular and not to sustain the linear model that we now have with the products. So we manufacture and then we throw them out in the trash. Whereas your company is making the manufacturing processes more sustainable. So it's a very good team to tackle this problem. But when it comes to the question itself, there are mixed messages, in my opinion, because, for example, I'm very active in the Family Business Network. And in the recent study, which was conducted in Finland, the results was kind of with mixed feelings because sustainability, it seems that it is still the priority number one in company strategy. But on the other hand, we see consumers especially young consumers, shifting from choosing what is more responsible and sustainable in accordance to their wallet. So what is might be cheaper right now might be seen as more attractive because of the cost, and that same phenomena can be seen in the industry. For example, in our customers, the customer base is split. So we have customers who are willing to pay more in order to save their carbon emissions and increase their recycling rate. And then we have customers who are absolutely going for the bare bones solutions and who want to have it as cheap as possible and just go over the limit, over the bar, so that they abide all rules and laws. That's my take on that.
And Hung, what do we feel? Are we actually indeed on track to hitting that 2035 target?
Yeah, relating to this question, of course, I honestly I don't have any statistic to be able to say we are on track or not. But I would share my impression as a person came here 16 years ago, and I have seen now here people talking a lot about the nature. All of us really, to all of us, nature is very important. And also I see in the daily activities that we try to separate different type of waste, and we try to protect our nature. And we have here clean air, clean lake, and green forests. So we see, and we see that that's why Finland is known as very sustainable country. And I read somewhere that actually we are ranked #1 in the sustainable in achieving the sustainable development goals, and also #3 in energy transition. So I'm very optimistic about the progress, and yeah, so we are doing great. I would say so.
Okay, so there seems to be split mindset here, which is always fun. We don't necessarily have to agree. So let's talk about it, in this way. If you feel like we're not on track, right, to reaching this target, or maybe not necessarily 2035, what can be done sort of immediately to right the course?
That's a good question. I think the incentives need to be brought out in the open more clearly. They need to be more aggressive, so that means regulations, of course. And I think the attitude, because of course, how I see things is I approach it from our business perspective, which is that we made the shift long ago in our family business to turn the business circular, and not because environmental reasons. We wanted to make it a better business, and we used common sense. We wanted to use less resources and less labor to make it a scalable business. So it was just out of common sense. And I think for the same reasons, the current business models could be changed to be circular instead of linear. So maybe another green factory company like you, which is focused on changing the attitudes and making business plans for the mid-cap sector in Finland, so that they're able to sort of open their eyes and re-see the world in this way, how we've done.
And from an optimistic point of view, I want to make you a little more less optimistic. So, what do you see as some potential roadblocks? What could enable us to get off track?
Well, I honestly cannot identify any roadblocks,
Okay.
but
Just
I would say
purely optimistic.
yeah, but I would say that we have to keep the speed, because we are in a hurry.
Yes.
It's just 10 years ahead. And also another thing is that Finland can bring a good lesson here to helping other developing country as well, to do good stuff there as well. Yeah.
I can name some major roadblocks we have in terms
I bet. That's why I wanted to give you the positive side. Please, what are some of the roadblocks that you see as potential?
Some of the roadblocks we're going to face are actually a result of some decisions that this country made in waste management some 10 years ago, which was to build such a large infrastructure on incineration. So if we compare ourselves to Sweden, which built their incineration infrastructure 7-8 years earlier than we started building the most of our incineration plants. The largest one of them was finished in 2013, which is now they're finishing up with the extension of this incineration plant. And how EU compares us to Sweden, because the cut line behind which is to which they compare, and afterwards there's what they compare to the latter period. And Sweden has built all their incineration plants before this period of time ended, and we have built most of them afterwards. So statistically, we have a lot more carbon monoxide resulting from incinerating waste, which is going to result a lot of carbon-based taxes from the EU to us, and that's going to be in terms of billions. And that's a major roadblock, which is in Finland. It already has for the last 10 years. It has wronged the incentives in recycling, because they built the incineration plants, so the market shifted in a way it was more financially attractive to incinerate the waste because it was made so, rather than recycle it. So that has made our recycling scene lag behind if we compare it to, say, the Netherlands, which is way ahead, light years ahead in recycling plastics.
Well, I want to kind of move ahead here, because the targets of 2033 pose both challenges and opportunities, right? Which we've sort of touched upon a little bit here.
And I'm a very optimistic person.
Yeah, no,
bring it out loud.
But pushing, these. The targets are going to push companies more towards sustainable practices, right? So Finland is known for its advanced manufacturing sector. These regulations could serve as a catalyst for future innovation, right? So what I want to pose to you all is, what strategies should companies adopt to not only just meet the regulations because they have to, but rather so that they can also capitalize on them for innovation and market advantage?
Secondhand products. Secondhand products is the next big catalyst for consumer businesses, for industrial businesses, machineries, equipments. So that's going to be huge, and that's something that the industries, especially in Finland, haven't really tapped on, because there is a humongous opportunity in refurbishing and factory overhauling secondhand products, and give them out or lease them out to customers as factory overhaul. That's gonna really accelerate the process for the economy to be circular.
And do you see any innovations that lie with, following regulations? What are the opportunities here, so that we can excite companies into doing this rather than saying, all right, I guess I'll do my chores?
Yeah. Well, I have somewhere about so-called Porter hypothesis is also saying what you just shared, that actually regulation can stimulate innovation, and in result, actually it creates more productivity and business value. And I would say that we have to start from the thinking. First, move from kind of reactive approach. So we are not trying to meet regulation or compliance with, but in thinking we need to be, proactive. So try to be innovative. So strategies could be invest more on R&D, innovation, and of course for enterprise, for corporation, let's also invest on collaboration with, for example, startups or research institutions. Because we startup, we are fast movers, we are innovative players, we want to take the challenges. So it's how I see it.
Yes, that's one thing, and especially in the Finnish B2B sector, as I've seen it, there is a lot of jealousy among competitors. So that's collaboration. There's a strong force. If we could establish alliances which go over competitors, so for example, us joining as a joint force with our biggest competitor and go out in the world together and face the world together, because we got twice as much resources compared to the history.
And how do we see these regulations affecting Finnish manufacturing, particularly in terms of compliance and profitability? Is there, I know we talked about a few roadblocks, but should a company be worried about being compliant, lowering their profitability, or should that be the exact opposite? And I know I'm going to ask you about your family's journey, so don't go into that too much yet.
Okay. Thanks for the hint. I won't go there too much. But I think reporting is going to be one tough part. But there will be startups which hopefully will collaborate with the mid-cap sector in Finland, which will take care of reporting. And I think there's going to be a huge opportunity created by the pressure of legislation demanding to be more sustainable. So that sets the bar, it sets the limit, and of course people are competitive, and whoever goes across the bar first will cheer, and it will be cheered by the press and everything. So it's gonna enhance things.
And should we expect more profit for companies that are compliant? Is this a notion that we believe in?
Well, my thinking is that, of course, when the regulations there and when Finland doing really well and actually is make Finnish companies be stand out when we going to European market and also international market. So again, I'm quite optimistic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I was in a conference this past week in Stockholm, and Al Gore was speaking, and so feverishly saying, "We recruit you. We want to recruit you." And it was from the tech startup world, right? He was like, "We can't talk to large corporations right now because the bottom line is they're not really. There's no vested interest in this, even though of the 40 or so different panels, almost all of it was on sustainability. So and there were some pretty big players there. But let's transition again. You mentioned a McKinsey use case study. Do you know of some other use cases or examples of companies that have made the tradition, and what were their thought process? I guess what I want to know is, what is the thought process of a company that's shifting away from abiding by regulation and focusing more on the good that it can do for overall growth?
Well, maybe one of very famous example is actually, to my knowledge, is the Neste is one of very successful, very sustainable companies, so that they're not trying to only meet the regulation, but actually they have renewable diesel is as a very innovative solution. Sorry that I don't know how they actually see it in the thinking. And also another example from one of my client that I have worked for is a leading company in pulp and paper industries. Yes, they has been invest a lot in the innovation. They have innovation funding for novel digital solution every years, and also very open up to utilize AI and data and start to build the real solution running in their business operation. So that is some example I have seen.
And you're an example right here, right, on stage, as you mentioned earlier. So I would love to sort of dig into that. Previously you mentioned that your company shifted to more sustainable practices in the 90s because it was beneficial financially. So, walk us through that. What was the process? Why? And now that we're 30 plus years or so into this, what are the benefits? What are you seeing over the course of this time?
Well,
and honest, of course.
Yeah, of course, it's fully honest, and the 100% honest person was the threat of bankruptcy was the reason why we had to reshape the model. Our company the family business was founded in 1984, and in 1988 we founded our first renting company, And at the time already, the average length of a leasing contract or a rental contract for a machine was approximately 5 to 6 years. So if we wind forward from 1988, 6 years, it's 1994, a pretty tough time for Finland and our business as well. Everything was quite crispy at the time. So we lost about a third of our customers went bankrupt. And so we had a lot of second-hand machines sitting on our yard, and we were thinking about what are we gonna do to these machines? That was the questions. And no one was buying second-hand at the time in industrial goods. Cars were bought second-hand and clothing at the time, but not industrial goods. So that was the problem. And our solution to that problem was that, okay, we rent them out with a new machine's warranty. We tried to convince the customer that yes, there is quality in them still. And that was the next slap on our face, was the warranty costs. Everything started to break down, and it was a nightmare. And that was in the course of the first year. So in 1995, we had to go to the drawing board and reshape the product, the material, strength, everything, and then the manufacturing process itself. And the goal was to make sort of an everlasting product, which we could overhaul over and over and again, so that it could be rented several times to many, many, many customers in the course of its life. And while it needs to be factory overhauled, the factory overhauling process wouldn't take maybe some tens of hours and a little bit of steel, maybe some cylinders, so that it wouldn't be expensive. So it was just common sense. And then it was a very good business until like 2012, 2013, and I joined the family business in 2014, full-time in 2015, and that's when it really started to take off. And the last sort of spring was COVID in 2020, because a lot of projects with new machines were shut down, and we decided that we're not going to stop here. We're going to go full on for the second-hand products for factory overhauling. So we called out to our customers and we said to them, don't buy machines from us nor anyone else. And they were like, huh? What are we going to do? We're going to factory overhaul your machines. And that's what kept us going through the COVID. And that's what we're doing now a lot, is that we're factory overhauling both the customers' machines and our existing machines. So we're making both our machine fleet and the customer's machine fleet to be completely circular. So that's been a result. And for your information, the complete scope 1, 2, 3 carbon footprint resulting to manufacture a pretty basic trash compactor is approximately 23,000 kilograms. And to overhaul one, that's less than 4,000 kilograms. So there's a great difference. And then you get to expand the lifespan.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
I would ask what the family was thinking about in the 80s, but knowing that you're only 28. But I'm really interested in did the shift. I mean, I know you mentioned bankruptcy as a threat.
Yeah.
But was there, once you were sort of in the process, was this like, oh, this is actually pretty good, it's good for the world, or?
Yeah, absolutely. And we were astonished by the numbers that we had a researcher student who calculated the carbon emissions of the new product versus factory overhauled, and we were really astonished by the difference. And of course, we had seen it because since the beginning of or the shift of 1994 to 1995, every machine, all the machines manufactured ever since, over 85% of them are still in use. So of course we see that there, and this would be tremendous. Say if Volkswagen or Daimler had 85% of their cars made from since 1994 to be still used. I'd like to see that percent. What's the percent?
So, Hung, I want to give you some time here, particularly when we talk about the rise of digitalization, Finnish manufacturing is at the forefront of integrating smart technologies, right? Or a Finnish person wouldn't tell you that, but I'm American, so I can boast on behalf of the country. But can you share how AI technologies, particularly in process industries and machine production, can lead to breakthroughs in sustainability? And how does personalization and speed align with environmental goals?
Yeah. Well, of course, industry, as we share some numbers, so that they they have a very high demand on the energy and so on. So if we're able to help to improve few percent in the efficiency, of course, the impact is really huge, right? And I have seen AIs in different industries like pulp and paper, biofuel, or pharmaceutical industries. They can help in solving multiple problems like preventive maintenance. So actually helping this business to be able to identify any kind of abnormal happening and try to prevent machine to be broken.
Yeah, beforehand.
And we can extend the lifetime of every machinery equipment. One thing like that, and of course about the use case that I have shared. So optimizing the process, reading the data, optimize the process based on the data, and try to minimize the key consumption, and also maintain the product qualities. So those kind of use cases I see. Of course, there's a lot of other things, especially in automation as well. Also very impactful in sustainability. Helping those processes, those industry more sustainable, and create really big impact. Yeah.
Awesome. I have about 20 more questions, but not 20 more minutes. So I wanna turn it to the audience to see if there are any questions there for our panel. We have a microphone. Just raise your hand. My colleague Hari will come with the mic, and please speak into the microphone because it's the only way it'll pick up on the camera.
Hi, and thank you for the presentations. I actually have a question. I mean, this may be more general, but this is for Hung Ta. Because you talked about sort of the paper and pulp, the use of AI, how you could sort of reduce the amount of chemicals used, if I understood right.
Yes.
So, because I remember in my previous job, we were sort of investing into startups in this field. We actually looked at one company in this area, and they were doing exactly that. Was not with the AI, but that was just better mixing of chemicals. You can get great savings by just mixing the chemicals in the paper and pulp, the process better. But then, the difficulty what they had, even that they could show that they could sort of, great savings for the paper and pulp factory. In the amount of chemicals used and in the money that they spend on the chemicals. But the biggest problem was that the vested interest in that industry, the companies, the large companies that sell the chemicals to the paper and pulp factories. So, they are on the factory floor. You have basically, it's a huge business. So it's not in the interest of the chemical provider that, even they say that, okay, we have our own sort of, what do you call it? Sort of like, how much chemicals is, that we optimize it and all that sort of a thing. But they're in the business of selling the chemicals. So it's not the regulation. It's basically, and I think same, Iiro, in the waste management industry, there's so much vested interest, even that you have the best solution. The regulation can only go that far because, if you run a paper and pulp factory, it needs to basically work like a clock. So, there's this sort of risk averseness, and, if the chemical provider says that, well, if you reduce this, like, the AI algorithm says, so we don't guarantee the results or whatever it is. How do you plan on tackling things like this? This was not just to Hung Ta, but just in general, the vested interest that oftentimes exists within the industrial clients. How do you plan on getting around this?
I have an answer for this. Let's get rid of the quarter economy. One thing, because the problem with humanity is that the lifespan of investment decisions is way too short right now. They only see the effect these investments have on the long-term profits, and that's the problem. Companies are too worried about the next quarter, this quarter, and the quarter afterwards, because we're talking about decisions and investments which will make effect and kick into effect in the span of 10, 15, 20 years. So there is no stock market awarding for those results, and there's no stock market which is interested in what's going to be there in 10, 15 years. So that's the family business quarter is 25 years, but we don't have that in the stock market. So that's one of the problems is that the lifespan of decisions is so short, and that's one of the things that we have a certain customer base for which we have nothing to offer because they only want to buy new machines. They will not have any second-hand machines, and our machines are too expensive for them to be bought new.
Yep. So thank you for the question. Actually, it's a very hard question to answer even for me. I don't know how to actually solve this problem as a startup who are offering technologies, and of course we try the best to have the best solution. And luckily, we have an opportunity to actually work with end customers. So who here is actually pulp and paper manufacturers. So we together, when we're showing the value for them, and actually our solutions steer their core businesses. So of course, by the result, we try to convince them the potential of those solutions for their businesses. And of course, there's eventually the final decision maker, right? And hopefully they choose the innovative technologies than trying to I mean more like maybe find some way for ourselves as startup, technological startup, to be able to also partnership with those chemical providers, because we also have a common goal to make the industry and also the planet more sustainable, right?
Well, I think overall it's about a change of mindset, right? And
Yeah.
I think in order to reach this, we have to start to think about it from your perspective, right? To how do we change the mindset of those that say, "Oh, I'm not going to do it." What's the point? Do we have another question up front?
Thanks, guys. This is for both of you, actually. My question really regards into how people actually process this information and how companies actually teach their own staff about how to actually become more green and be more sustainable. How easy would you say it is right now for a company to discuss within their own team how they could make things more sustainable?
I've had these discussions even today and just yesterday. It depends so much on the company. If it's a company whose strategy, or in the center of their strategy, sustainability has no space, then it's very challenging for them to talk about sustainability and how it goes. But I'll have an example. For example, this shopping mall in Eastern Finland that we renovated their waste management processes and the machineries this fall, and their sort of how they took it was quite surprising, because at the beginning there was great resistance. Everybody thought, because in their part of Finland, that's also another factor. What's the culture in the users who are actually conducting the processes every day? And they talked at home, the workers talked at home that nothing needs to be recycled since we burn anything anyway. Why recycle? Because all the separate trash bins will be poured into one garbage truck and incinerated at the end of the day. So why recycle at all? Good question, good point. But that's not the way it actually goes. And we went there and we showed how it's done. And through a process of gamification, they actually liked it very much. And for them, and for the real estate manager, the thing was, we're going to be among the top 5 shopping malls in Finland measured with recycling rate. And that was, for him, that was the mark, that was the thing, that was the goal.
Yeah, so for me, I had some opportunity to attend sort of annual meeting from one of my clients was with the vendors where they share their strategy and priorities. And one of the leading pop manufacturer here shared that sustainability and safety are their top priorities. And when, of course, I see that when it's at the top priorities, and it's very easy to initiate and talk. And I learned that they actually have dedicated leader from the leadership team for sustainability, for safety. So very good move from industrial companies. Yeah.
Did they also offer or make sure that their employees were living sustainable as well? Or were there incentives? I had lunch with someone yesterday, and he told me to ask this question, and he's sitting right there. And thanks for setting that one up, because now I get to knock it out of the park. But is there what were they offering incentives to their employees to live a more sustainable lifestyle? Where instead of driving to work and offering packages like that, would you use a bike or yeah?
Well, that's a great idea, but I don't have that information.
So it's something to think about as well. Do you know any companies that are claiming to be sustainable? Do they offer incentives to their employees?
Yeah. Actually, they do. We have some customers, and I also know entrepreneurs who offer benefits for their employees for taking the bike to work instead of a car, or walking to work if it's possible, or making the commute with public transport. That's something. Definitely, there are things. I haven't seen anything towards recycling yet, but some with, for example, secondhand clothing. So the companies give out gift cards for secondhand shops like emu.fi, for example. So that's something that I've seen, and they're quite good and clever ideas, because they enhance people to try it out and see for themselves how it works and how easy it is and how good quality the clothes are. So, for example, I'm actually wearing secondhand clothes here. So I'm trying to live as I teach.
Well, Iro and Hung are going to stay with us during networking, so you have an opportunity to ask some questions. But I want to kind of wrap up here by a poll. 2035, are we hitting the target, yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely. We'll make sure.
All right. Hey, let's give these two a huge round of applause. Thank you both so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you very much.
If you'll stick with me for a few more minutes and allow me to indulge myself even more, if you can possibly believe that. And I promise you, there's pizza waiting for you in the back and more drinks because the bar will be open. But like I mentioned at the beginning, we are a community and a playground. What we do at Epicenter Helsinki is exactly what we do here, what we did tonight, where it's about bringing together brilliant minds to have discussions, to truly innovate with impact. And so we have a couple of events coming up because we do this once a week that I want to share with you. And all of the events at Epicenter, as you know, are free and open to attend. So here we go. On Friday, March 8th. So last year was so great, we're doing it again. Join us on March 8th for Epicenter Founder Stories. This is going to be on International Women's Day. So we are going to recognize the pivotal role of women founders in shaping industries and setting new benchmarks. This event is dedicated to spotlighting the extraordinary achievements and relentless spirit of 6 remarkable entrepreneurs. These trailblazing women hail from sectors such as tech, healthcare, and operational excellence. They're going to take center stage, narrate their inspiring stories of overcoming hurdles and crafting narratives or successful narratives in each of their respective domains. And the companies feature Articana, Enfuse, Hoiwa, Resistomap, and Videoly. I thought I probably shouldn't have said it because if I miss one, it's on camera. But second, March 12th, Hired is back. This is our once-a-month series where we curate events that discuss the most pressing topics in today and tomorrow's talent landscape. So on March 12th, we'll be highlighting the critical role of women in leadership positions and the continued advancements in their career. As women only hold 29% of senior management roles globally and control about 31.8 trillion in worldwide spending. This event is going to address the urgency in fostering their growth in the corporate sector. Finally, on March 19th, this is the second installment of our series called AI Surge. This time we're talking about deepfakes and the ethical quandary surrounding them. Deepfakes are sophisticated digital creations that use deep learning to produce or alter video content so convincingly that it becomes difficult to distinguish between genuine and fabricated content. This advancement has advanced so significantly that we really want to talk about this. In fact, I don't know if you know, but there was a video of Joe Biden, or a voice call of Joe Biden circulating, telling New Hampshire voters not to vote for him. And it was his voice. And it's the first known in known, but it's causing tons of waves in the U.S. with regard to the upcoming election. So we're going to talk about that and look at society, politics, and privacy. So that's a great one as well. So thank you all so much for being here today. I'm still seeing smiles, so that means that you like me still after all of this. Let's give our speakers a huge round of applause. Like I mentioned, there's pizza in the back. Just follow the green lights through the corridor there. I ask one thing, though. This is all about networking and meeting people, so come back out here. Don't stay in the kitchen, although we all love to be in the kitchen. Let's come back out and meet one another. Again, I'm Joy. This is my colleague, Hari. If you want to know more about our sales and memberships, our marketing manager is Arto is here, and I'm not seeing any of my other colleagues, but I thought one was staying. Oh, Sunny is there. Yeah, Colin is right in front of me. If you want to learn about our advisory, Sunny is on our events team. And listen, I'm great at barging into people's conversations. So if you want me to introduce you to someone, I'm happy to do that. But let's stand up. Let's have a great time. Thank you all so much for coming. Thank you.